Welcome back here to the ESL Major League Americas. Ooh, DJing. Oh gosh.
Whoop. Those knobs are slippery.
They're real slippery. This guy is the Kubi.
And this guy is Solid Jake. Ooh.
And this is the ESL Major League. Like we said, getting ready for our second series here tonight.
Yeah. Got any updates for me? Are we playing now? What's going on?
Well, it sounds like it's going to be very soon.
Very soon.
So
TM. Very soon, TM.
Okay, we even have a draft.
Wow, okay.
A draft link.
Sooner than soon.
It's like we're
Next
getting
level soon.
We're getting ready. We're getting ready. And Kubis, what are the teams that are playing?
Let me tell you about them teams. We got BARRELBOYS versus Murlocs Inc. And of course, we just saw a series between Murlocs Inc. and Lunatic Gaming, so we're a little bit familiar with their play style, how they approach the matches. But how do they adapt to BARRELBOYS, one of the two undefeated teams in this league currently? Should be a good match.
It should be a good match.
These guys have had some very nice matches in the past.
Yes.
I always enjoy watching these two teams play. Murlocs do have a little bit to prove, and taking a win here would be a very, very nice win for them, of course.
Kubis Maximus, why don't you join this lobby we're in? It's going to be
I should get in there.
hypa as we get into this lobby. Ooh. Setting everything up. Get all my things nice and pretty.
Da-da-da-da. All right.
Now, like you mentioned, BARRELBOYS are currently tied for first place with Tempo Storm. They are 3-0 in series scores.
I should take that back, or I'll have you take that back for the reason that Tempo Storm is now 4-0 due to the
forfeit. Yes.
So BARRELBOYS, if they want to hold that tied spot, they need to
2-0 here.
They do need to 2-0.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Well, it looks like everyone's in the lobby.
Okay.
Let's find out if our draft's going. I have the Stormcraft up. Begin drafting when ready, Kubi is saying to the players. We just need to confirm.
All right. And that draft is up. Do we know the map? Oh, we do know the map, actually. I think
it's going to be Cursed Hollow.
It is Cursed Hollow. Wow. All right, so you said Cursed Hollow back-to-back to back. I said back-to-back to back-to-back. So I, without knowing it, predicted 4 Cursed Hollow games tonight.
I want to start a vote as to how the community feels about salty runbacks. It's an interesting concept. It's a very Smash mentality. But I'm curious as to how the community as a whole feels about the idea.
All right, the concept of different maps in a competitive game such as this,
it's half the appeal.
Well, it's definitely a big draw for this game in terms of separating it from different games in its genre. But I'm thinking in competitive games as a whole, more or less reserved for Smash and shooting games. Is that a fair assessment to make?
Mostly,
FPS games.
Yeah, for maps.
Right. So
I mean StarCraft. You can't forget about StarCraft.
Oh, of course. Yeah. How could I forget about StarCraft? Spent a lot of time watching that game.
Yeah.
But you're right. It was handled a little bit differently in StarCraft, of course.
So the way the StarCraft system works is a bit different. It changed over years, and tournaments did it different ways. And ultimately, a style became pretty universal once WCS came around, maybe even before then. But there is a 7-map pool, and basically the way it works for a best-of-5 series is both teams strike out maps, and then they alternate. It's A, B, B, A. So Team A will pick Game 1, and then Team B will pick Game 2 and 3, and then Team A will pick Map 4 for that best-of-5 series. And the last map that's left in the pool, the 7th map, would be Game 5. I'm sure I just confused all of you because it's hard to understand that just off paper. But
A, B, 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 A. So, no problem.
A, B, B, A. And, well, baby. I don't know. It rhymed. I tried to go with it. Didn't work. I regret it. I regret everything. That's a very different style. But the style we have here allows us to do back-to-back maps, and we actually have Cursed Hollow. And while we're babbling away, the draft has begun.
What a draft it is. Nazebo band? Tassadar band?
Hammer
this, December?
first?
I don't even know what to say. These guys are moving too quick for me.
ETC and Uther. Murlocs grabbing what they like. That's going to be, maybe that's the style they want to do here. So it's a bit of a power play. But BARRELBOYS, do they just kind of let Malf get scooped up, because Rhaegar's still available here, so they can't let Rhaegar go. But you honestly, Uther Malf is hugely popular as well. I mean, that was popular before Rhaegar was even in the meta. So I suspect that we're going to see Rhaegar and then potentially Illidan picked up here by BARRELBOYS.
I think scooping Illidan is very important from the sense of if you allow Murlocs to get Illidan Sonya, well, that's all but GG. You have like all the parts to a ridiculous combo potential.
Yeah.
Just Sonya Uther alone is quite scary. Having ETC and Illidan on top of that, I don't know. And I'm curious to see if BARRELBOYS is keen on this. How familiar are they with the fact that Murlocs could pick this up and are probably willing to? And does Murlocs commit to it?
Well, we see Vala, so I'm wrong.
How much of a protect the hammer comp is it going to be?
Okay, there's the Rhaegar.
Pulling double healer out of the pool, but what is the follow-up from Murlocs? I would love to see that full dive style. It's so scary, and it's very fun to see the counterplay, how the opposing team deals with it, etc.
Okay. Do we see the Furion picked up here to pair with Uther? The double heals.
That's the other possibility, is that they can swing to the double support style.
And then they throw Illidan in there too.
Mm-hmm. So I would say the picks here are going to be Illidan Sonya or Malf Illidan.
I really can't disagree with you.
Just depending on what their style is. Okay. Well, it worked for them last game, but there is no Nazeebo to counter, so it's not as pressing. And we may even see Lightning Breath because of that, which could be fun.
I think we will see Lightning Breath. I think I'll bet a bag of flips that we'll see Lightning Breath.
Oh, you mean the flips that I still don't have? The flips that I still do not have on my desk. At this point, interest is racking up.
Oh, man.
If I don't have flips on my desk by the next cast,
I'm going to
that's
the store
3
tonight.
bags of flips.
Going to the store tonight, okay?
Are you?
I don't know.
You said that last time. Still no flips. Remember, I don't want dark chocolate or white chocolate. Those are gross.
I'm actually a secret.
Regular flips.
All right, bonus points if you guys get this. I'm a nerd, but I'm a secret hikikomori, and if you know what that is, well, good for you. If not, it's safe to YouTube.
I don't know what you want me to do with that.
But
Jaina!
All right, that's definitely not a common pick, but I'm very excited about it. Now, Jaina is a hero that has massive damage potential. She can easily top the charts, and especially if she has 2 big bodies there to bully in front, keep her safe. Well, she can do work.
Which might lead me to believe that she will go a Arcane Intellect and Ice Lance. Is that the name of the ability at 7?
Well, it's Frostbolt and then Ice Lance, yes.
Oh, man. I'm a Jaina expert.
Jaina. Well, Stooches is going to be...
Well, they kind of have to get Stooches,
yeah, I know.
right? So
Lord Stooches is picked up. That's going to be Putrid Bile style.
we'd be surprised to see Muradin.
And for their last pick, they could easily grab Right Wing or Tyrande. Depends on what they want to do.
Murlocs is not showing anything that is particularly divey, so Brightwing may not be a necessity.
True.
You may opt to go for things that capitalize better on hook. Could be Zeratul, depending on how comfortable they are with that. Or do they want to just try to fill out their damage output?
Tyrande would work there too.
Yes.
Lunar Flare. Hunter's Mark. But what else is on the table? Now, Asmodan is still on the table, but it's going to be the Zeratul that you mentioned.
There is the Zeratul.
Good pair with the hook. But do we see Asmodee? Now, like you mentioned, this is kind of the middle of the road map for Asmodan.
Yeah.
Not the best, not the worst. Definitely fine. He's definitely a viable pick on this map. But you still have to consider the other options on the table here. But I think they do want to go with a range.
I think I would be leaning towards Illidan.
Oh, I forgot Illidan exists. He's not melee. He's too slippery.
It's too slippery.
He doesn't count.
I mean, you're already in a situation where you have tons of control over the fight between ETC and Diablo. You have slows from Jaina, who's poking away from afar. You have lots of stuns with Uther. You have a lot of potential.
What is this guy? What is this character?
Have a lot of potential for Illidan to do work. They don't want to do work. They want to do Tychus work.
I said ranged, and here's
All
the
right.
thing. Here's the thing. The new Odin. Well, he's not the same Ulf he used to be. He doesn't get this big beefy health bar.
That's a good point.
He gets additional range. He's a little bit weaker, but he's a little bit faster and longer range with the Odin. He can use first aid, stone skin, any of that kind of stuff while in Odin form. He can even bolt while he's in the Odin. And he has a dash forward and a targetable slow.
Do you think he will grab searing attacks at 7?
No.
Now, you mentioned all of these things that you can do while you're in Odin. Searing attacks is one of them. And also,
I think first aid's too crucial.
as I mentioned, there's a lot of control. There's a lot of peel
Yeah.
in the form of Uther, ETC, and Diablo. Can you get away with taking a ridiculous damage output and trade out the first aid?
We're going to find out, Kubi. We're going to find out. Before people yelled at us for product placement, we are not at all sponsored by Blizzard, but we're going to do more product placement anyways. Look at this sweet Hearthstone bottle opener I got. Oh, yeah.
Where's
it's
my
actually an
plug?
arena key, and you can open bottles with it. So sick. So sick.
Oh my goodness.
Cursed Hollow, game number 1, ESL Major League Americas between Murlocs Inc. and the BARRELBOYS and Kubus Maximus. Who's on the blue side?
I'll tell you who's on the blue side. And that would be for Murlocs Inc. We have Caterpillar, Clown, Equinox, Banker, and Mad Timmy. We actually didn't get to do the roster cards. Oh,
Oh my
Rip.
goodness.
that's okay. We'll do it between games. Look at those guys.
We'll do that later. We'll do that later.
How about
All
the
right.
red side, Jake?
Well, we do have none other than BARRELBOYS with Urho, Blinks, Trummel, McIntyre, and Mr. Fury here with the King Stitches on the wolf. I don't know how I feel about that wolf. I feel like its fur is going to be really smelly with this big oaf of a Stitches on top of it, and I feel bad for it. I mean, I just
that's
keep
just-
thinking about this white coat it has, and well, now it's going to be green.
I mean, dogs already are kind of stinky, as it is.
Oh yeah, not this dog. Okay, that dog's probably stinky. Oh, we
Oh
have this
my.
party bush attempt by Murlocs. They barely fit. They barely fit, but they're having a party. Mad Timmy decides he's gonna go
Nah.
home. He wants to go home and play video games.
They did have a lot of lockdown available to them in that party bush. I like the 3 heroes they chose.
Yeah, it's a good party. I'd
It's a
go
great
to that
party.
party, says Scooby.
Yeah, why wouldn't I, man? Some nice people to talk to there.
Well, let's-
Stitches mainly. I'd want to have a conversation with him.
So we're gonna
Jake's like, I don't even know what to do with that.
we're gonna
Oh.
just sit here and listen to the Gatling gun
Sounds
of
so
Psycho
nice.
for a while. He looks so good on that Cyberwolf too. I gotta give these guys, props for their combos with their mounts. And this is another very good one. Equinox, probably the best combo in the game right now with that white Cyberwolf and the Master Jaina skin.
Oh, that's right. We were very excited about the mines last time, them being little cars. Forgot about that. I was like, Trummel. Oh, yeah, that's right. He doesn't go for the master skin because of the car mines. It has to be, right?
If he's smart. These
He
guys,
also-
these guys are watching the mines. They don't care about the game. They're like, yo, I can't wait for that mine to just roll around with the little race car. It'll be so hype.
Did you see how little Hammer got knocked back by that grenade? Do you know why that is?
Well, that's level 1 talent there, Kubi.
Oh, resistant!
Bum, bum,
75% reduction, stun, slows, and roots.
So successful.
And you know what? There's quite a few stun, slows, and roots available on the Murlocs Inc. side of the town, so I can very much understand why you would grab that. Now, what you're giving up there is the 10% damage bonus to those targets that are 4 or more range away. Very much lends to her kit, especially when you grab
It's a big thing to
Cover
sacrifice.
Siege and you grab Nexus
Maelstrom.
Frenzy
And Maelstrom,
and
too.
Maelstrom Shells. All of those things point towards that. But there's also a very good reason to grab Resistant, especially against this team comp, which is just full of CCs.
Well, Blinks is making his way over to those Giants. Looks like Vala will be assisting him. And Vala, just making sure that nothing's cheeky happening. No, saying, Rhaegar, you're on your own, my friend. And Dibbles is taking that watchtower, which could force him to fall back here. And yes, that is actually what's going to happen. Now, McIntyre going to cut off Caterpillar. And, well, this tribute spawning is so all players will be in the area either way. But Caterpillar is actually in a terrible spot here, getting surrounded. A nice concussive blast out of trouble. And that's going to be a nice pickup by BARRELBOYS, getting first blood in this game.
We did get a chance to talk about it, but Jaina has opted to go for a very bursty style Jaina. I was expecting mana reduction, more sustained damage over time, considering the cooldowns that she has in her kit. They're somewhat lengthy, don't lend themselves for a long fight, but if you go for that Ice Lance ability at level 7, which reduces the cooldown of Ice Lance if you hit a target with it by 2 seconds, allows you to chain them together. Not the case here. We're seeing a burst style. Extra cold, or I should say the extra slow, up to 35% on her abilities and the Envenom. Talents aside from that, Melting Point just has that so needed damage to structures over time. It's just so much for a level 4 ability. We almost always see Tychus grabbing this. Level 7 has been capped for BARRELBOYS here, actually both teams. Tenderizer, double first aid. Nothing too crazy.
Such
actually,
health bars.
Yeah, and that is the additional damage for the Frostbitten.
Yeah.
Just for her trait.
This Jaina style has become very popular. We're seeing that the Endless Death has been picked up on Diablo this game. No battle momentum, so likely will be that Epoch style. And 1-for-1 in the tribute count so far in this game. Looks like Trumbull's looking to get some aggression here onto Clown. Clown taking a bit of damage from the Giants and just Urho in general with that range of Vala, and the siege is there, forcing Clown back. This is going to be a lot of damage done. Yeah, Henry gets knocked back a wee bit.
Just a wee bit.
Just a wee bit.
I actually want to talk about Clairvoyance over Cleanse on Uther. And it's been picking up quite a bit of steam as of late in the meta.
Oh, that ragdoll was so next level. I was not ready. Anyways, yeah,
Bounced off the wall.
Clairvoyance
Yeah, that's
great.
great. But no, seriously, a lot of teams have been picking up the Clairvoyance. They need that extra vision because we've noticed that the rotation game from these top level teams has been really making or breaking their success towards the late game. The split pushing, the rotating around to these objectives, trying to guess where the enemy team is and trying to get the leg up in the team fights. It matters a lot, and having that extra vision is so important. Like right here is a great example for it. And there is the form of Farsight and Clairvoyance for both teams.
Well, Blinks is going to be able to sit here and safely capture this tribute. 2-for-1 in favor of BARRELBOYS at this time. Little race car mines in place. Will they be going on a quest?
No quest today.
So sad.
That is 2 tributes for BARRELBOYS. They've already captured 2, and now we're up to level 10 for both teams, so no timing attack available. The Lightning Breath for Diablo.
Oh, we called it. We said we'd see it, and
Yeah.
there it is. We do have Trummel trying to get into a cheeky spot. If Clown pokes out, he will be bombarded. The concussive blast knocking him back. He doesn't want to get too aggressive, and there is the blink forward. The singularity spike doesn't end up missing, and that will prevent a potential kill that could have been there. With the singularity spike, they might have been able to chase, but as Equinox comes in, the Winter Mute is going to be sent out. Excuse me, the Water Elemental. Winter Mute is the 20 upgrade in this VP, setting him up, putting down some race cars, but a Lightning Breath to try to zone, not going to be enough. McIntyre using that first hit to get out, actually sitting in that Lightning Breath. Very brave siege tank.
That was a nice Void Prison to throw down to save Trumbull. He had already used his dash, so Jaina surely would have been able to chain enough of her abilities together to get the pickup on Trumbull. VP goes down. That actually sets up the rest of the team very nicely to pick up the kill on Jaina. Like you said, we saw that Dragon's Breath, Lightning Breath.
Dragon's Breath.
Not quite enough. No penalty from Diablo there. It is a very short cooldown, however. Jaina did die. This gives a huge opportunity for BARRELBOYS to push, and McIntyre is going quite a bit far forward. He's just about getting enough, and that is going to be the kill onto Diablo. Almost enough.
Max range hook coming out from Fury.
Nice.
I mean, BARRELBOYS, they are making plays. They disregard that fort, walk by it. They are sieging up this back wall. They're going for a keep. We're only 6 minutes into this game, and they're applying so much aggression. 4 kills to 0.
This curse is allowing them to make these plays. They can sneak back fairly safely behind enemy lines, so they're not having to be worried about being slowed by the keeps or the forts if they have to run by them in that sense. So giving them quite a bit more opportunity to be aggressive. They did pick up those extra kills. We are seeing 4 kills to nothing. Only 7 minutes into the game for BARRELBOYS. They're showing their dominant play. So, all right, hey, we're here. We're going to bring it to you guys.
Yeah, well, Murlocs Inc. might have been warmed up from that last game, but they're going to have to step it up here as they are a full level down. That means they have a talent disadvantage. On the talent side, pretty much the standard stuff. We're seeing that wormhole allowing Xerath to get be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more cheeky.
I like the giant killer pickup It makes a lot of sense when you consider there are 2 tanks available on the opposing side, that being Diablo and ETC. Of course, Giant Killer does extra damage with the auto attacks based on the max HP pool for those heroes. So you're going to get more value if you're targeting those that Diablo and the ETC.
Well, the hook goes out onto Spanker, but he saves his knockback just for that moment, and he's going to be able to disengage nicely. All heroics available for both teams, but I don't think we're going to actually have a fight here. I don't know that Murlocs can get aggressive. Even though they've hit level 13, they've picked up those talents. What do you think about those talents, Gooby?
They do get the slow on the Crippling Shadows.
Nice. Nope.
For the Shadow Charge. And the double sprint. It's just a lot of survivability for those heroes. And yep, the face melt, like you mentioned, just more slows. Actually, I was hyping up the Giant Killer pick, but I wonder if it's also showing your hand a little bit too much. There are 3 heroes on the opposing team, that being Murlocs, that can grab Imposing Presence.
I think they will at 16.
If you put too much stock into your auto attacks, and we do see the Putrid Bile for Stitches to just ensure that safety that he gets out. However, Odin was popped.
Yeah.
And that is a trade that Murlocs does not want to make. No one was killed, but the cooldown for Odin is considerably longer than that of Putrid Bile.
And he's just kind of hanging out in it, looking for something to shoot, but he's not going to be able to do that. The Odin will end up falling apart, and the cooldown is, of course, bugged, but that's 100 seconds. 30 seconds from now, Bile will be ready again.
So, with the potential of that triple Imposing Presence coming out, I wonder if it was smart to put so much stock into the auto attack. I mean, yeah, the Bullhead mines aren't quite as good anymore, but you're going to at least guarantee quite a bit of value. Not quite a bit, but you'll get some value.
But First Strike is still a good option too, though.
It's in the same sense that you're putting stock into your auto attack, and they may end up just countering it. The 50% attack speed reduction, and this, we should mention too that the splash damage that Sergeant Hammer does, if it hits one of the heroes that has Imposing Presence, you also get the slow.
It's a big deal.
It cuts her DPS in half. That's a huge deal.
Well, the bottom boss is available. We can see that right now. BARRELBOYS are grabbing these Brizzers. They're making their way down to these Giants, picking those up. On the other side, we just had the Giants picked up from Murlocs, and they are getting ready around this boss, the Golem. The Clairvoyance is there out of BARRELBOYS.
Equinox did show, so they are aware that at least one hero is available, and they may make the assumption that Murlocs Inc. is... Oh, bit of stutter in there. No
Actually,
problem,
I learned something new today.
Oh, Arrow just caught a bit out of position. Thought he was safe by sneaking around the tower. Not the case. Now they can get the boss. And since there is no critical tribute, neither team will be picking up a curse.
Nope. Well, like I was trying to say before our Vala player got annihilated, I learned that we can actually look at individual sides of the game. If I want to look at the vision of the blue team, we can do that.
Okay.
The only problem is I tried it once. I tried it once right there, and it stuttered. So
okay,
we will
maybe
not.
not.
We will not be putting an emphasis on that.
Just kidding, guys. That doesn't exist yet. So the trade was made. One tribute for the boss. I think Murlocs will grab that any day as long as a curse isn't happening. Even then, it's sometimes not a bad idea to grab that to try to mitigate the curse if you are down in levels, etc. Waiting on that level 16, here we have it from Murlocs. I'm curious. Yeah, there it is. Triple Imposing Presence. That is going to really nullify the ability of Hammer to dish out damage during those team fights. And we're probably going to see at level 20 the increased Napalm Strike damage, because you can at least guarantee you will get some effectiveness out of that, whereas having Nexus Frenzy, yeah, the extra attack range is nice, but...
Yeah, you're getting 20% extra attack speed, but then the
still trying to mitigate that 50%,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, so it doesn't really end up being favorable. So that's the Lava Strikes, I believe it's called, is a pretty likely pickup. A good call there. And just kind of looking at everything else here, we do have that Pulverize. We do have the Northern Exposure out of Jaina. That's going to give her a lot of damage potential. And having her in the back line, she's going to do what she can. But Caterpillar gets pulled in. A nice VP. That's 4 members stuck inside. But what's the follow-up? Putrid Bile. No, not setting up with that. They're actually a little bit afraid to go in on that. So it's kind of a waste in the end.
Yeah, it was, I think, an attempt initially. I think he thought Calico was in a worse spot than he actually was. That hook, though, that might put him in a bad spot.
Yeah, the heals are real, and here comes out that Water Elemental trying to zone, and it's doing a nice job. Clown in the back line with that Odin. Water Elemental has been taken care of, and BARRELBOYS, although they sustained a decent amount of damage, they are in a favorable position going into this.
Like you said, positioning is strong. Caterpillar does need to get healed up. He has 150 souls, so if he dies, he will come back quickly. He can get aggressive in that sense. McIntyre blinking to the back line, trying to apply some pressure. Is forced to use that wormhole just to make sure he's safe. Trouble advancing forward with that hover siege mode, but keep in mind those auto attacks do get slowed, hitting the majority of the enemy team. Still, it's enough to give them the zoning, the pressure, just to keep Murlocs Inc. out, and BARRELBOYS will secure themselves their second curse.
Look at the damage minis here. Top damage on the side of Murlocs Inc. Not even 10k. Over 20k for Vala, 18k for Zerful, 17k for our Hammer player, and oh my goodness, as the map goes flying off the screen, there's so many kills happening. 1 for 1 at this point in time as the ETC player does end up falling. They are in full retreat. Fury looking for the hook. He's going to get a minion, and that's going to force a turnaround out of Murlocs Inc. Trying to pick up a kill, but the Putrid Vial should be enough to get Fury out of this. But no, turning once again.
Slowed auto attacks, not even enough to slow down BARRELBOYS. They get the hook. It is going to be enough again on Cloud that is going to secure them quite a bit of damage that is guaranteed in the form of this keep. Do they get aggressive and push to the core? They have 20 seconds to make the decision. I think they're probably just going to back up, especially considering how low McIntyre is here. They will likely pressure the middle keep.
Yeah, I think that's a good call here. I mean, Trumbull can pressure so safely, but when your allies are putting themselves at risk, is it worth it? And yes, everyone is actually going to end up hearthing. This middle keep going to sustain a lot of damage as it is from this big push, but with the curse expiring.
Yeah. BARRELBOYS is electing to just back up, safely take their golem. Okay, let's look at how Murlocs needs to approach the team fights. They have a lot of team fight potential and disrupts available to them just throughout their base kit. Do they need to be setting up more of a wombo combo style in the sense of Mosh Pit chained into or chained from Divine Storm? Is that what they need to do? He does have sprint available.
They need to. There's so much reliant on Diablo doing damage. It's just not happening. Like, they need to actually get use out of that Diablo pick. Yeah, he's nice in the front line, but it feels like BARRELBOYS is doing such a good job disengaging the Odin every time it happens, like when they can.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can look at the meters again. The you know, 16k, they've gone up a bit. This Diablo's damage should be scaling a little bit better. I know the Lightning Breath is a much better talent at 20, but even still, you'd expect a little more damage on their side of the team at this point.
Good points to make. Curse Fury advancing forward, looking for that hook. Mad Timmy probably not the target, but he's going to take it. That is going to be a Divine Storm. He's running forward. He's looking for it. The team immediately recognizes it, backs up. Mad Timmy's quite low. Lightning Breath going down, applying a bit of damage, but not quite enough, not what they needed. Mad Timmy and Caterpillar both low. McIntyre has to blink back to keep himself safe. Arrow still applying damage. Curse Fury with the slam, the pulverize. Does he have the hook available to get Spanker out of position and finally get that killed? He's going to fall actually to the Golem Slam. This might be enough for them to pressure onto the core.
I think that's gonna be game. That level 20, the Storm Shield's going
true.
off.
Level 20 does seal the deal.
Will end up falling here. Oh, the flips and the rewind back, going back out of there. Just Mad Timmy sprinting in the way he did and getting completely whipped. It was such an obvious sprint, like, and he tried to get the maximum value rather than hitting just 2 members. He tried to hit 4, and he got to Zeratul. He was about to hit Divine Storm. Zeratul blinked out, and he had to turn around. His life bar was gone, like, before he did anything. So
I'm okay with it, though. They needed to make a big play. They were 2 levels behind at that point. They had the goal pushing down. If they didn't make a giant play right there and hitting 3+ members of the enemy team to get that mosh pit, to get the lightning breath damage, things would have ended probably how they did anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with them making the attempt. Perhaps they should have tried to flank with Uther. I don't know how feasible that is, especially considering the scouting that's available in the form of Clairvoyance, Farsight.
I guess my opinion, though, is, like, if you have 2 tanks, have ETC dash in, then run in. Like, have Diablo Shadow Charge in, then run in. Like, rather than running in Bear by yourself when it's like, so there's nothing else happening, there's nothing else to think about, you just make that call, okay, get away from Uther. You have these 2 tanks, utilize that. So that's kind of, it just looked sloppy to me.
Right, but if you have one of those 2 tanks extending too far forward, especially in the form of Diablo, does he even have the HP to sit there in Lightning Breath?
Yeah.
To try to get that damage that they so desperately needed in those team fights? Hard to say.
Yeah.
Either way, Divine Storm did not hit
No.
the amount of targets they were looking for.
Didn't even go off. He
didn't
just
even
backed
get a
up.
chance to
He
use it.
realized he wasn't going to hit anything,
Right.
and he left, and it was just like, well, this is terrible.
Yeah,
I
just
have no
saved
health.
it for her for maybe a cleanup or a chase if
Yeah.
the fight happened to go well. But Lightning Breath did hit quite a few targets, but still wasn't enough. And we do see that Barrel Boys takes game number 1 over Murlocs Inc. in this best-of-3 series.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking good. They're looking to hold that first-place position tie with Tempo Storm.
Yep.
And they need to win the next game to do that. But Murlocs, as of tonight, they're 2-1. And they don't want to go down without a fight versus Barrel Boys. They want to prove that they can go toe-to-toe.
Close game. It was good, good
It was.
game so far. I'm looking forward to see what strategies they end up changing up for game number 2, what map we're going to go to.
Yeah.
Do we see the back-to-back-to-back-to-back Cursed Hollow?
I hope not.
Jake's just sick of Cursed Hollow at this point. Too many Cursed Hollow. But all right, I think we'll take a 5-minute break. We'll get that lobby set up for you guys, and when we return, we will have game number 2 between Barrel Boys and Murlocs Inc.
Stay tuned. All right, that music was a little bit too epic.
So
for me.
epic, I know, right?
We had to cut that out. Guys, welcome back to the ESL Major League Americas.
Oh, the Murica.
America.
Oh, I'm Kubi.
And I'm Solid Jake, and the cat is somewhere around here now. Big shout out to me, I guess, because I got another camera, and we're gonna. I flame Kubi. We're gonna have a dedicated kitty cam for some of our streams in the near future, so you guys can look forward to the potential cat existing behind us here, in the studio screen, if you will, and that's gonna be exciting, almost as exciting as our next game here.
Nothing is more exciting than that, Jake. Dragonshire.
Durgan.
No back-to-back Cursed Hollow.
Thank goodness.
Jeez, what do you got against Cursed Hollow, man?
Now, Cubus Maximus, we forgot to introduce our teams.
Yeah, we did. Why don't we do that now? We'll wait for the Stormcraft to come up.
So one of our teams here, it happens to be a little group called the BARRELBOYS.
That's right. And for them, we have McIntyre, Blinks, Fury, Arrow. We don't have his photo just yet. And
He's
Trummel.
actually just a blob. And Trummel, yes.
Those gunners.
That was Fan. Fan has switched over to Club named Vortex, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
With their new squad. So, Rip Fan. Gonna be playing with those boys. On the other half, we do have Murlocs Inc. with Spanker, Atlanta, Clown, Caterpillar, and Mad Timmy living in the darkness. Now, he's the healer. He keeps people happy and healthy, but in order to keep the balance, he's got to live in the shadows. That's his strategy. If he's in the shadows, he's got to provide the heals from the shadows. That keeps the balance.
This is a very elaborate method for describing support play, but you know what? I'll leave it to you. You are the support expert. So, if that's what you say when I come out here and you're just playing in the dark, no lights on, I'll just chalk it up to that.
I'm in the shadows. That's where my play is
trying to really
strongest.
zone into the support.
That's
style.
why when I stream, my games aren't as good. But when I'm in the shadows, because I got all these lights on me, when I'm in the shadows, my play goes up.
Okay. Nope.
All right. Is our draft ready?
Let me check.
Nope.
Yeah, it's up.
It's not started.
It's not started, but you at least get a number. We can call that up. Guys can look at a blank screen and not our faces. No, we won't do that to you guys. That sounds silly.
I'll post it in the chat if you guys wanna look at this. I'm just gonna give you a number. If you know what it means, good on you. Good on you. If you don't know what it means, good luck.
Good luck. All right, I see the Murlocs Inc. is ready. BARRELBOYS? Not quite. All right, let's talk about that last game, Jake.
Well, the damage wasn't there.
They had
For
Jaina and
Murlocs.
Tychus, though.
Jaina.
Do you think they should have gone APOC? I mean, all right. Retrospect, yeah. They probably should have gone APOC because they didn't quite get the value that they wanted out of Lightning Breath. But is that something that's easy to see before you hit level 10? Were there any triggers that you saw that might have pointed to that?
No, it's just what ended up keeping them. I think Bile is what kind of. Am I confusing myself? Let me pause.
It's okay, I'll give you a second.
Let me pause.
Just take your time.
Okay. It just ended up being the Odin was always, ignored. The Odin was always left. They would always run or disengage,
Sure.
or it wouldn't get its full efficiency. Odin needs to be used in the back line. Back in the day, the Odin would be used in your face.
Right.
Get low, pop the Odin. Now you have to use the Odin in the back line or as a flank and kind of sneak up on them. They're like, haha, because it's so easy.
I can just picture this robot like, ha ha ha.
It's so easy to run away from it. And I guess that's kind of the inherent problem as to why we don't see a whole lot of Tychus right now. And his
Yeah, but he's got the Lawler skate dash.
Okay.
Not enough?
Can you go through walls with that?
No.
If you could, maybe it'd be okay. Maybe then
It's like Gundam status.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Oh, I'd be so happy if we could do that. But that sounds way too good, so please don't do it. Matt screwed up. McIntyre says he quits. That's going to be it for tonight, guys.
That's a shame.
Step it up, Matt.
Dragonshire. Who are we likely to see? We saw a lot of. Do you think Hammer's just going to get countered by all these teams now because of the imposing presence? It has such an impact, and it made quite a bit of difference. I mean, they were still able to push with their level lead for those couple last fights in the game, but still, imposing presence, triple imposing presence. It did work.
Yeah,
it did work.
It did. It did work. It really did. But okay, well, the draft. We think this is actually happening, but we don't know. The chat is saying mixed things, so we don't actually know if
Mixed things.
I don't know if we're going to be remaking this Stormcraft.
They did remake another one. It hasn't started just yet.
Okay, so we're looking at a false life. This is not real. So that number I give you guys,
Rip. But you're speaking 2 minutes into the past. They don't know.
actually only 1 minute. We changed things.
Oh, jeez. What am I gonna do now? All right. Double Warrior in general. How do you feel about it?
Double Warrior in general, I think it can work with Diablo because it provides
The
so much of a
versatility?
front line, this like ADC Diablo, but like Putrid Bile is such a good response. It's just like, okay, you're trying to get in front to body block us, and like Stitches is just going to get in there and slow you all down with his gunk. He's just going to say, look, we want none of this. Step on my filth and leave us alone. And that's all he says. And guess what happens? It deals with it.
The funny thing is, though, Murlocs drafted in a way to force it. They picked up ETC in Diablo before BARRELBOYS could even grab a tank, so they said, yeah, even if they allowed them to pick the counter, is what I'm getting at.
I can't argue with you, but I just don't know if it's a good... It definitely can work. It definitely can work. But, like, what were they protecting? They were protecting Odin. Like, if they were protecting maybe a Hammer or Ravenous, I think it would have more success. I just don't know if that Odin Jaina backline is ever going to get the kills.
So perhaps they needed more CC. In the form of APOC? Oh!
I don't think that would have changed anything. I really don't think that would have
I
changed
love
anything.
APOC so much. Can work nicely on that map with the close quarters.
Wow. Look at
Wow.
this.
Just wow.
Wow.
Much Hammer ban.
Such sham wow.
Much Hammer ban.
Hammershire and Asmo Dire, while both these guys getting banned out. Asmodeus is obviously his best map. Every time we've seen over 600 bonus damage. I think there's over 700 bonus damage on this map. That's actually just kind of disgusting.
It is.
And then Hammer, of course, very powerful. First pick going to BARRELBOYS with Illidan. McIntyre.
Not really. I think perhaps back, maybe a month back or so, this would have been telling of what their strategy is. But like we had been mentioning, with the shift in the meta, going away from that burst damage, it's now much more feasible to be running Illidan. And it's not really so much of a cheeky composition anymore. Now, if you pick up Illidan Sonya, that's a different story. However, Illidan, I think, is still a nice neutral pick. High damage output, difficult to kill, and has a lot of escapes. I like what Murlocs has grabbed as well. ETC, highly regarded as the best warrior right now in the current meta.
Current flavor.
And Nazebo, as long as you can protect him, make sure that the stuns never get to reach him. If you set up nicely for the Ravenous Spirit, it will turn fights completely around.
Oh my goodness, the Ravenous just... Whether they're at full health or no health, it does work. It makes you run, and it's not very fun.
God. Right, man.
Valhalla, Tassadar, very quick draft here for BARRELBOYS, picking up, that Swiss Army knife that is Tass, leaving the supports very late into the game. So, Uther Rhaegar is a possible pair they can grab. They have the ideal tank. They have an ideal damage dealer for that backline. Do they go for the invulnerability of double support?
It's good that you bring that up. The fact that neither Uther or Rhaegar were picked.
Right.
And we're already looking at the sixth hero grabbed. Time's a ticking.
Time's a ticking. So, of course, Malfurion is incredibly popular on this map as well, so you can't count him out. There's the Rhaegar. Is it Uther? Or do they go for something else? Sonya, setting up Wombos, has picked up a bit of steam. We've seen a lot of Diablo play. but there's still a lot of assassins on the table here.
It's true. Now, there's not a lot of... They would need to secure themselves something for the final pick if they wanted to go Sonya. I mentioned this before. There is that gap between Leap and Dance, and they're hard to link together due to the speed. And also the distance that Sonya covers sometimes is further based on the positioning of the enemy team than what ETC can cover in that short amount of time. So they would need to secure themselves something else. Sonya is grabbed, and when we get back to Murloc's side of the field, I'm going to be looking around at what heroes are available to help secure that combo, if that's what they're going to be relying on.
I mean, Ancestral, of course, works very well with Sonya, but you're right. She has that relying on factor where she does get blown up if she gets stunned out. As it stands, they're looking for stuns, and Diablo is going to be picked up and Uther, so that's a lot of stuns. So now, this is... I mean, this should have been expected, honestly. The Uther was...
Yeah, they forced them to take Uther.
Which is fine.
Not necessarily forced, but the fact that Sonya is even there. The Sonya-Uther combo is...
But Sonya's a deny, too, because look at Illidan. So...
It's a very good point. They're sort of both like denying each other the full set of combos available. Who is going to be this last hero that I'd like to see picked up? Tyrande is jumping out at me.
She's
Zagara
okay
is a possibility.
I like Zagara
Zeratul
more.
could work.
I think I like Zeratul the best. Third time's the charm, Kubi. You got me. I'm sold.
Those are the three that are jumping on it. The bottom row there, guys. Feast your eyes on that bottom row.
The only thing is like teams don't usually... Okay, what I was going to say is they usually don't like to have too many frontliners. They want to have that range damage because in a battlefield, well, they're going to get more sustained damage guaranteed because they have ranged abilities. And when you're looking at already Sonya ETC in the front line, it might be a little bit cluttered for Zeratul to be able to get in. Of course, having Zagara as ranged not only gives you the maw, but it also gives you a lot of damage.
Yes, damage, and then that additional setup that I was looking for from the Sonya.
That's true, for the dance.
For the dance. So ETC can either get in ahead of time if the maw is like grabbing 3 or 4 people, and he can get right up to the edge of that maw and already start the dance before it comes out. Sometimes the slam might not be needed. Still get Sonya in there already casting a whirlwind or slams, whichever she wants to set up for. Lots of damage potential there. And then, Ravenous Spirit on top of all that. If the spacing and the execution is correct, on Murloc's side of things, these fights are going to go fast. They're going to go fast.
You had such an opportunity. If the spacing and execution is correct, these kids are going to get wrecked. You had such a good rhyming opportunity. Goodness.
So, when you start going into these rhyming things, should I just like follow up with like a beat so you can keep going?
Oh, that'd be so good.
Yeah, you want me to?
Yes. Just please.
Just start dropping a beat for you and then put you on the spot. I think you're going to quickly grow to not like this anymore. All right, you told me to do it. It's going to happen.
Okay. Okay. You know what? I've been playing with this option on all day and it's been driving me nuts. Whew. Got that.
You feel like the load just lifted off your shoulders.
It's so much easier to cast, not having to worry about these lava edges that shift the screen.
Let's talk about that red team, yeah?
Red team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Switching up on you. You gonna be okay with that?
I'm okay.
That red team though. All right, it's Murlocs Inc. We have Caterpillar, Clown, Equinox, Spanker, and Mad Timmy.
And they're saying, hey, who cares about the top lane? We don't need that life. But on the other half of the map, we do have the BARRELBOYS, and this is gonna be Urho playing as Tassadar, Fury playing as Lord Dibbles, Trummel on Vala, Blinks on Uther, and last but not least, McIntyre gonna be playing as Illidan. This map is Dragonshire, the first time we've seen a map other than Cursed Hollow today here in the ESL Major League.
Very good point. No stitches, so cheeky shenanigans are kept to pretty much a minimum here. Both teams are aware that the presence is going to be heavy in this little triangle that of course you cannot see over those bushes unless you have a member of your team inside there. The vision from Zagara is something we didn't talk about, but the rotations on this map tend to be quite heavy.
It's a great point.
They have high efficiency. The creep tumors that are thrown down between these lanes, you'll notice that Zagara will probably pay quite a bit of attention to making sure that those creep tumors are up often. Tassadar, on the other hand, can activate his ability, Oracle, that you just see there, to give a vision of that. So there will be this constant battle between there, but it's really to minimize that rotation potential because these two lanes are so close together.
Yeah, and it's actually like a really powerful thing just for that. Now, they are easily cleaned up. Like you said, Tassadar has Oracle, multi-shot. Fire Stomp, you name it. There's
Yeah.
a million ways to clean it up, but it doesn't mean that the tumors aren't going to get work done because they don't really cost that much mana to throw down. We have this big aggression rotation coming out of Murlocs Inc. as they go up and down between the middle and bottom lane, and it looks like the top tower is currently just kind of being neglected as Illidan and ETC are dueling it out.
As you mentioned, that McIntyre starts to shift his attention forward. Nope. Not going to be applying too much pressure. Doesn't look like either team is super interested in grabbing the Dragon Knight right away. Perhaps for good reason. I mean, more or less, it's going to allow you a bit of deny and some pressure on the towers, but they don't really have that huge impact until later in the game. We're talking like levels 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in. That's when you really see the ones where they start to turn fights. They start taking keeps out, forts out. Gosh. Until then, just a bit of experience. Get yourself that nice boost headed towards level 10.
Now, Kubi, we often talk about mount, skin, tint combos.
Uh-huh.
We rarely talk about ability combos. And the Lightning Shield on the Whirlwind of Barbarian is probably one of the best combos. It just looks so right.
It's so right in the world that Equinox is perhaps getting body blocked out here. Nicely done from BARRELBOYS. Did he throw the
Hydra?
Did he throw the Hydra on the wrong person?
I don't. Blinks will end up falling ultimately. Nicely done by Spanker, knowing the right way that he might try to run away. Those roaches going to be moving forward. Court Feeders giving them the additional duration or additional health.
30% extra HP from non-heroic sources.
Okay.
This team's still very close. Kills 1-1. Clown on. What's her name there? Sonya. Yeah, that's it.
Barbarian.
Trying to push out a little bit against these towers. Has already drained the mana from the mid. Sonya is an exceptional laner with that Whirlwind and getting the Fury back to heal. She can soak tower shots. And honestly, put a lot of pressure, bring it to a very stable laner such as Tassadar.
Matt Timmy has to be careful not to get flipped and then Shadow Charge, because then he will owe that Diablo a bag of pretzels.
And Jake knows that all too well, and he just can't recommend that to anyone. Illidan seems to be winning the top lane versus Caterpillar, holding that shrine, and quite a bit of HP, so don't expect to see too much changing there. Would be difficult for either of those heroes to gank each other. But, that said, both shrines are being capped at the moment by Murlocs. Sorry, BARRELBOYS? Yes.
Yes, BB, they just changed sides, so it's a bit confusing. The flip, it looks so wrong on a wolf. That is animal cruelty happening as we witness it. The zombie wall to try to zone out Blinks, nicely done, and they're going to be able to reclaim this bottom tower. ETC, they just step off a little bit too soon. ETC is capping the top shrine, but they just keep not capping it. They're afraid. So, the zombie wall, is it real? It is real. It's going to capture multiple members, but they don't have the ability to really capitalize on this, as Matt Timmy is in a rough spot. The zoning for him is going to be available, and Matt Timmy turns around.
Still, though, Trouble looking quite hurt after having spent too much time in the vacation land that is the zombie walls. No good.
Vacation land. That's the worst vacation I can actually imagine, Kubi, because no.
It's just not fun.
Just no.
It's just not fun. Not a fun place to be.
It's like sitting under stitches. It's just as bad.
That poor wolf knows about that. Clown continuing to put pressure in the mid lane, and this might actually allow him. Yeah, a rotation does need to happen. Curse Fury rotating up to sort of relieve Arrow of that.
So
pressure.
First Curry is his new name.
Curry.
First
Curry. That one was just not happening. All right.
Well, First Curry is making his way up here with McIntyre to put some aggression onto this top shrine. During this, though, it's just Echo left behind, and it looks like Equinox doesn't want to put this pressure on with Cloud. If the two of them did collectively shove Echo away, they might have been able to take a Dragon Knight, but we do have McIntyre, in fact, stealing this top temple.
That's right. Some pressure being applied bottom with Nasibo throwing down the zombie wall to soak up shots from the tower. The healing wards there, they are getting quite a bit of work done. They will be able to grab at least one of these towers, and that should give them the boost they need to hit level 10. Not too close behind, or close enough behind is Murlocs Inc., and we're going to see both teams are at level 10. Anything crazy talent-wise for these heroics? Yes, a Wrath of the Berserker. Let's talk about that. So, we had mentioned the Maw, and the fact that Maw can combo directly into Dance. Jake's making some interesting mouth movements, perhaps. I get it, you're funny. Okay, so that said, Leap isn't really needed. if the Maw is there and ETC can get there in time to set up and have that dance already going by the time those heroes get out. That said, you may as well just go for the extra, the 40% damage bonus to those abilities. He's already been talenting into Slam. Probably a 13 he'll grab the reduced Fury cost for successive slams. So if you can catch 3 people in those dances, the amount of damage that Sonya can put out in a matter of 2 seconds is terrifying.
Sonya turns from Kubi to Kaldor and just ruins people. Like,
ouch!
That's pretty much
ouch!
Matt Timmy taking a lot of damage, backing it up. He does. There's the Maw just on McIntyre. That's an Illidan. He's going to get out very easily. The Banelings will try to combo, but they just hit this Giant in the butt. It helped them cap.
Coming up a bit short on the Baneling timing. I don't think it was going to net a kill regardless. And the Shrine situation is going to be going towards BARRELBOYS' hands. Yes, Spanker realizes that the situation is a bit too dire for him to get aggressive. And this puts a bit of pressure mid. We see the Cloud and Equinox are there. They will be able to hold it. And what is the rotation from Murlocs? Well, just choose to put some pressure top.
Yep,
they will
top.
cap the Shrine.
Yeah, Matt Timmy is able to grab that top Shrine successfully. And, well, these Giants are going to push it in, but Spanker will have no trouble picking that up. But in the meantime, well, we see that Illidan is going to be grabbing the bottom Bruisers and Sonya, respectively, grabbing Bruisers here on the red side of the map. That's that Berserker Fury. It has such a short cooldown. She gets swirly orange marks all around her. And she's just overly...
Swirly orange marks.
It's so manly.
You're right, though. I mean, more Fury that you generate while you're in this mode increases the duration, but also as soon as you activate it, the cooldown starts to trigger. So you can keep it up, and then as soon as you lose it, if you've already had it for 45 or 40 seconds?
45.
45. If you've been holding it for 45 seconds, then you can immediately reactivate it, which is it's a nice, as long as you keep chaining your abilities together, it's something that you can absolutely pull off with good Sonya play. Fully expect to see that out of Clown here.
Fully expected. Man, the manliness coming out of Sonya.
If they play their cards right, these team fights will not be lasting very long. And Spanker getting hit by that Hammer of Justice, caught out of position. Equinox 2, and the slow from the 4 is going to put McIntyre in a position where he cannot chase too much further. Mad Timmy trying to go down to peel these guys off the fort, using that Feral Lunge. And has he got himself out of position?
Yes.
I'm not sure that was the right call. He has to use Ancestral Healing on himself. Will get himself out of the spot, yes. But at what cost? At what cost, Jake?
It cost him a heroic, it cost him a friend, and it cost him a fort. His MySpace page now only has 7 people on the front. No longer has a full 8 top friends.
Bringing it back to 1998. No, that was much too early for that. I don't know when MySpace came out.
It came out when esports came out, Gooby.
McIntyre applying a bit of pressure onto Equinox in this bottom lane, and the strafe is being dropped. Is it going to be enough pressure? Yes, they will be able to pick up the kill onto Equinox and Mad Timmy. McIntyre trying to get into body block, not going to be there in time, and he has to use Metamorphosis to find himself to get out. And Spanker was hoping to get on the other side of that situation with the Maw going down into Blinks. This is just not looking so good for Murlocs.
No, it's not at all. Clown is going to be body blocked out of his home. Illidan does not care. He goes and says, "This is my house now." Knock, knock. And, well, with Caterpillar coming from behind, Blinks is very low, so they are.
Oh, no, he can't get flipped here. He will get flipped. Oh, no!
You believe. You believe.
First Curry not able to get the flip. That might have been it because I think he just used his dash. Caterpillar, of course.
Now, clearly, First Curry's going to go home tonight. He's going to order himself some Indian curry.
Yeah, I actually got to talk to him later. Ask him if he actually likes curry, because if he doesn't, then that name just does not fit. He's going to have to change it. He's going to have to change it.
He's going to have to fix that right quick.
Right quick.
Going to be cleaning up these Giants. And just let's get an update here on the talents. I'll be honest with you, I haven't looked at them in a little bit.
Ouch, Jake. Jeez.
Hey,
do
man,
these guys justice.
Observing and stuff. It's tough.
I will say that the talents that were... What are you so excited about?
Nice sick rhyme that you just made.
Jeez.
I was waiting for the beat.
No, you were telling me to talk about talents. I was just doing the task at hand, man.
God. It was all just a setup for the rhyme.
All right, focus, Jake. Focus. All right, we do have From the Shadows. That's the increased range. We've seen a lot of Diablos grabbing that. But what's not too common is the continuous overpower, which is double charges of overpower. It's lots of flips. Jake's probably scared of grabbing that one. I understand he's a bit PTSD with the flips.
You know who's used to From the Shadows? Mad Timmy. Look at this picture.
I just won't let it go. Mad Timmy's got to fix it. That's a call out for him. We'll see if he delivers.
All right. Well, we see the top lane being cleaned up. Fury just kind of being there as a bully, saying, hey, I'm going to soak this lane. Even if there's 3 of you, I'm not too worried. Because the threat of this team pushing in the middle lane is real. I mean, BARRELBOYS, they're knocking on this door. They're getting the experience. They have a full level lead, if not more. And let's talk about opposing presence, though, because with triple opposing presence in this game, oh my goodness, I can't believe they were able to grab that.
First Dragon Knight of the game, 11 minutes in, not too common. But as I was mentioning previously, once you start hitting that 10-minute mark, this Dragon provides quite a bit more presence. You see the teams that are grouping up to make sure they get that maximum efficiency out of it. That said, you can't just throw it away willy-nilly, and teams will focus it down very quickly if given the opportunity, so we need that support. And they're looking to take the middle fort here.
Willy-nilly and diddly-diddly. And Fury dives in, gets the flips, and out goes the punch on to Nazeebo, knocking him out of this fight. Fury is very low and will ultimately end up falling. A nice mob being thrown down. And Clown is just getting so much damage done. The Ancestral is here, that dance, but the Apocalypse will be used to disengage.
You saw how quickly the target from that dance fell, and they have cleaned themselves up a fight very nicely. The Dragon Knight is expired. Are they going to be able to catch it? Oh, they are, and he already used his Dimensional Shift. That is going to be a dead arrow.
No.
Curse Fury is also going to pay the price. No, not quite. And of course, there is no leap, no way to get over that wall without breaking it. Still, though, Murlocs Inc. are marching in. They are on the warpath.
It's not the March of Murlocs because they
don't have
Murky or Murkablo. So
guys, step it up. So much work for them to do that we're just charging them with. They need to fix their picture. They need to play Murky. It's just easy things, right? Easy.
But while they're doing work in this game, because they are really pushing in well, I mean, the fort has fallen. This wall is going to fall, and they will not push towards that keep. The death timers are too low at this point in the game. They're just going to rotate around, make the safe plays, and grab some Merc camps. We got 2 Bruiser camps available, 1 Giant camp available. We see Sonya making her way to those Bruisers.
So looking at the team fights, we've talked quite a bit about the potential for team fighting that Murlocs have. And I'm thinking to myself, what's a good way to deal with that, to try to nullify it? APOC. Problem with APOC is if Diablo gets caught in the maw or is killed before that can happen, there's no way to really deal with it. Uther with Divine Storm a little bit.
Yeah, but I think you have to save APOC for Ravenous. I don't think they have a choice. They don't really have a lot of stuns, and putting Uther out of position to deal with that, there's no Reign of Vengeance for
Even
Vala.
Still, what you're asking out of the Diablo is to hang back and not get caught by Maw.
Yeah, I guess so.
There's just so much more potential for Murlocs here, and it's going to require quite a bit of out-positioning on the BARRELBOYS side of things to really try to take these team fights. And as it is, Murlocs have capped themselves one very nice team fight to put some pressure on, and they're just riding that out because it is so scary for BARRELBOYS to try to initiate. They have to catch people out of position. They have to try to out-rotate and make plays that force Murlocs to be places they don't want to be. I think that's what BARRELBOYS needs to focus on moving forward.
And look at this call. They take the bottom tower, and they're going to be pushing in with these 4 Giants. They still have these Knights pushing in the top lane who are pretty low, but they're going to do a lot of work to that top fort. And they just have every single member of BARRELBOYS in their base. They could send 1 member, Sonya, to that top temple, but no, they want to keep this aggression here.
These 4 Giants are doing so much siege damage, and it's so difficult. Like we had mentioned, the threat. If you get too close, you get 2 members of your team way too close. I mean, think about how many opportunities Spanker has said, I really want to maw these guys right now. Like, you know, BARRELBOYS has to be thinking about the entire time. They're like,
big
should we poke out?
Maw, there it is,
That's
and he
2.
does go for it.
And they have Diablo in there.
They set that Ravenous Spirit up with the dance. Fury gets the Apocalypse off just in time to be able to get out of that situation, but here is the Metamorphosis blowing up Rhaegar. Mad Timmy and Spanker will be the first 2 to fall. 1 fall on the side. That's going to be Uther going down, but 3 for 1. That's going to be a 5 for 1 pickup for BARRELBOYS.
I will say that the big thing about they were able to catch 2 people in, and they committed a lot. They threw down the Ravenous immediately, and they had the dance. They had, I mean, everything was set up nicely for that fight. Arrow was actually able to dimensional shift out from the maw before the dance hit him. It was either because of how people moved out of the dance and got body shoved outside of the range for it, which is unfortunate, or there's a slight gap where you can just mash E to back out of that situation. The fact that he was able to get out, they only had the 1 person. So you have 4 people that are able to just immediately start targeting ETC or whomever else is going in. in that situation, and then you're basically going to keep your Diablo alive. You'll get your APOC off to deal with Nazeebo and control the rest of the team fight, and that's exactly what happened there.
Well, I mean, they had a nice game here. They almost brought it back. I mean, very even pushing in. The GG's coming out, and well played. BARRELBOYS keep their undefeated stance here in the ESL Major League, keeping pace with Tempo Storm, tied 3-0 in match counts.
I'm not sure. There's so much variability in terms of how they're popping out at that Maw, what they could have done to correct that.
Yeah.
And if they had Slam, that probably would fix it. Or Leap, I should say. But then you're sacrificing that 40% extra damage.
And the damage was doing work for them when it was getting that use, but
I'll have to go back and look at that to see where the zombie wall was. But still, if the positioning isn't right and he doesn't get caught immediately in the dance, he can still E out.
I think the big problem is they weren't able to keep the Diablo locked down long enough because of Relentless. He got out of the dance, and then he was able to get that Apocalypse, disrupting the Ravenous Spirit. And
even still, if you have all 4 members, or if you have everyone from the enemy team, you basically have traded out warrior for warrior. He's using dance onto Diablo. No other effectiveness there. So yeah, they can try to focus Diablo, but you still have Uther with Divine Storm going in to stun out folks. It gets tricky from there, and it's really just a 4v4 where you're expecting to get a huge advantage from the Maw. You're setting up all your team fights. You've just thrown 3 heroics to deal with that, and you're saving from your on your side of things. You saved your heroics. You got out of the situation more or less scot-free. Throw down that APOC and turn the fight around.
APOC does work.
It did work. It did do work. Well, like you mentioned, BARRELBOYS takes a 2-0 victory over Murlocs. Murlocs will be splitting games today.
1-1, yeah. So they played a doubleheader. They managed to go 2-0 over Lunatic, and that'll put them up in the rankings a bit, putting Lunatic, who has just entered the league, down to the bottom of the rankings here. But they have plenty of games to turn that around in the Major League, because we have matches happening all the way through March 20th just for the group stage, because this is the group stage. Matches go for many, many more weeks, and then we go into the playoffs. But that's far away. That is far away, and we got more matches this week.
That's right, Jake. What are we going to be doing Thursday?
Oh, let me find out who teams are playing.
Oh, my goodness.
I should
know these things.
I should know this. Pulling it up here on the ESL.
Just production stuffs.
play.eslgaming.com/heroesofthestorm/Americas. That's probably way too many things already. Just go to play.eslgaming.com. You'll find it. And we can see that later this week we will be having 2-Arc Iliad versus Cloud9 Maelstrom, and the Lunatic will be playing once again versus Evil Geniuses.
That's right. Exciting.
Yeah, those have been 2 good games, because honestly, 2-Arc, they're getting their act together. They've been playing really well lately. Like they've stepped it up once again. There was a point where they were considered maybe number 2 here in North America. Like they were up there. And then they fell off for a bit. They did. They really did. But lately, they look very strong. Maelstrom, same exact boat.
It's very good points. Can't disagree with you there, Jake.
Indubitably.
Undoubtedly correct.
Indubitably is a much better word.
But yes, we will have some excellent matches for you guys on Thursday. Of course, just like the games we saw today, which were quite a bit of fun. I enjoy seeing those that wombo combo style and how they dealt with it. It was cool to see how those teams attacked these types of problems on these different maps. Always a good time.
Kubus Maximus, where can our lovely viewers find you?
Boom. Oh, that was so smooth. You can follow me on Twitter @TheKubi. How about you, Jake?
You can find me at SolidJakeGG on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Yeah. Kubi and I both stream on my channel very regularly. I do a daily show called The Daily Quest, Tuesdays through Fridays, where it's kind of about breaking apart team fights. It's kind of like casting, but slowed down. A little bit more emphasis on pausing, rewinding, looking at fights, why things happened the way they did. We do some silly stuff. Tomorrow's Wonky Wednesday. We're going to be looking at DPS Lily builds. Users have submitted replays of their Lily games, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see how good or bad.
You don't watch them ahead of time, right?
No, I don't.
So it's
it's strictly based off what they tell me in their email, and then I look at it, and then I'm like, okay, here we go.
Makes for a good time. All right,
so
cool.
I got a lot of replays this week.
We'll check that out, guys.
So we're picking a few of those, look at those.
What time is that? Tomorrow at 4 Eastern?
That is at 4.
Okay.
And then tomorrow night at 9 p.m.
Yeah, that's
also
right.
on our channel. That's twitch.tv/SolidJakeGG is Town Hall Heroes episode number 52 with Mad Timmy, who we just saw playing Murlocs Inc., joining us as our guest.
So you guys, when that Reddit thread pops up, you guys can submit some questions if you want to ask Med Timmy anything about the games we played tonight or over the weekend or anything. Because they got to the finals of ESL. I can't remember. I think BARRELBOYS won. So they at least got to the finals there. So kudos to them. Yeah, that was for the Americas Go4. Ask him any questions about that. We're just going to be picking his brain about playing supports and how the meta's been going for him and his team.
Mad Furion, everything. Is Mad Furion going to exist?
First Curry? What is it? First Curry? That's right. So
and of
that
course,
should be a good time.
Yeah. So I think that does it for us here.
I think that's about all the shout-outs we have. Jake, where can they find you other than your show?
I said.
No, you didn't say Twitter.
Oh. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Solid Jake GG.
There you go.
I thought I said that.
I gave you an opportunity, so let's just go with it.
Okay.
Come on, catch the lead.
Yeah.
All right.
Follow me on Twitter. Kubi just surpassed 400.
That's right.
Let's get him to
Thanks,
500.
Guys.
Let's get him to 500. I'm at like 3K
Thanks,
now,
hype.
so if we can break that 3K threshold.
Are you actually at 3K?
Just below. Just
below. Okay, it sounds like you're embellishing a little bit.
Maybe
we could get Jake to 3K. Wouldn't that be nice? I think he's like 5 followers away from 3K.
So fancy. All right,
I mean, if you follow us on Twitter, you get all the information about these ESL casts, our show. We're going to keep all that stuff updated for you guys. So
maybe some cat pictures. And the final shout out, we got a new camera on the way, which is going to be the dual camera status, meaning that the cat cam will be real. It will be reality. And I know I've been pestered so much by people asking for a cat cam. A few people in particular, and you know who you are. Shame on you, but good for you for pestering me consistently about that cat cam.
Knit sweaters for the cat and mail them to us. We will put the sweater on the cat for the cat cam so you guys can see your hard-earned knitting work.
Knit us a Murloc sweater for the cat. Please.
If I have sweaters mailed to the house for the cat, I can get dimensions for the cat so that you can make a sweater.
She's fat.
Will put.
You're gonna have to use a lot of yarn.
She's a big kitty. She's a big kitty. A lot of yarn. She doesn't like to wear sweaters. I think we can warm her up to it.
Why do you know this?
Because I have the shark costume for the cat. Remember?
Oh yeah,
that's right. So she does not like wearing it. She starts walking backwards. It gets weird. You've never seen her wear this?
No.
You put it on her. She's just like, she just starts walking back and then falls over. She does. Cats are like that. They do weird stuff. I don't know, guys. Make some sweaters for the cat and send them to me. We'll put them on. We'll put her on the stream so you guys can all see your hard work in action. That said, let's wrap this up, Jake. What do you got for me?
It's going to be it, guys. We'll see you Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for some more ESL Heroes Major League. Of course, you can tune in at 1 p.m. Eastern for the European League as well. So make sure you check that out if you're available at those hours. I know a lot of people are at work. But till next time,
Jacoby signing out.
We love all of you.
Hey, we didn't get any of those Jacoby pictures.